Hi, I'm Ray with HRT Designs. I'm the designer of these chassis systems you've been seeing on Facebook and that other place, eBay. Anyhow, I've had a lot of customers that have been confused on how to assemble these, so I want to quickly walk you through the high points of it. When you get your chassis, this isn't not a production design, but when you get your chassis, it's going to be taped up like this. What you're going to want to do is just cut this tape away, and you will pull out a grip assembly and a charger tang. So you got all your parts laying here. First thing I want to do is take a 7/32 Allen wrench. Do you have the camera on the tools?
No, I am.
Okay, you take a 7/32 Allen wrench and take the grip assembly down to this point. Now it's going to leave you with a buffer tube adapter, which will fit an AR-15 buffer tube in stock. A charger tang, which is for if you're going to do a pistol, you would this just fills it in, makes it look nice. Or you can use a buttstock. This is a speed stock in bare form. You may have ordered something like this sporter stock with a cheek rest and butt pads. This I'm not really going to go into. It's just Allen screws here, and you got wing nuts and carriage bolts, and the carriage bolts go in flush. All there is to that. So you got all this set up. Then you have your chassis. Now you get your chassis, you're going to see a screw right here on the front end of it. That screw is to hold in the shipping spacer, and this is because I used to have a lot of chassis crack in shipping. I'm just going to take a Phillips screwdriver and pull that out. And it's not easy to get out, but there's your shipping spacer. You can just toss that. You don't need it. Save the screw. We'll get back to that in a little bit. So you've got your chassis. This is the front end with the screw hole for your receiver on your rifle. You see right there, that screw goes in here. That's the front. So what you want to do is, again, you got your 7/32 Allen wrench. I like to start the large bolt into the back of the chassis. Then I put my grip on there. And then depending upon what you want to use, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'll use a sporter stock. Just make a little stack. And carefully holding it all together. Just start screwing in your 7/32 bolt. Or 7/32 Allen. No, I don't have the patience for it, so this is a 7/32 Allen bit. Just start real gently, make sure it's going in straight. Just one little crack, and you'll have a solid stock. And this one's actually a tester that's been beat all the heck, so got a little flex to it, but anyhow, we got that done. You take your fore end, and all of my fore ends, the new ones, have the same interface. This is a minimalist, what I used to call a V13. You'll see that will drop right in there, but the lines are messed up. This, of course, is the solid look, I call it, the V8.3. And I should note that the version numbers don't mean anything. It's just to separate the different styles. They're all equally new designs. So anyway, I'll put in this, get my fore end in place here. I remember our number 6 screw. So the number 6 by 1/2, by the way. I'm going to run that in. And just snug. You'll see it's quite solid now. So I've got my chassis ready to go except for one thing. When we put the barreled action in there, you're going to have the option of free floating your barrel, or you have a rearward saddle slot or the forward saddle slot. On all but the stubbies only have one because there's not much difference. For our purposes today, I'm going to show you with a forward slot. Obviously, if you're going to free float, you don't have to do any of this. But when you get your instruction sheet, which I highly recommend you read, because otherwise you will have questions, just take this off, and inside of it is a little set of barrel saddles. And these are printed with what's called a brim. And usually they tear right off. And you might want to take a scissors or an X-Acto knife and trim them up. Usually they'll peel. In a pinch, you can just peel them. And you can see I'm peeling them off quite nicely. So in this case, I've got the widest of the three saddles. Got the middle one's the smallest. That's for the biggest barrel. This is for your carbine barrels, your smallest barrel. And then I have an intermediate one. Just depending on where you use it, you might want to use any of these three. Usually if you're using the rear position on the forend, you're going to want to go with the smallest one, the one in the center. But for this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and put one in the front. So I've got pretty much a new Ruger 1022. It shouldn't matter on age. They should all fit. What you're going to want to do is, before you do anything else, lock your action open and take your magazine out. Obviously, for safety reasons, you want to make sure that your weapon is clear. And locking this to the rear will prevent pins from falling out of your out of the trigger group, especially the magazine release pin. Otherwise, you're going to be hunting for that stupid thing. So now I take a 5/32 Allen wrench, and I've lost mine because I used it so much. I'm going to take it right here, and I'm just going to unscrew this action screw. Now, you may have an older gun, or you might have an aftermarket screw, so it's not necessarily going to be 5/32, but I shouldn't have to tell you to take apart your own gun. And you get it loose, and then you pull it back out, and it'll keep coming all the way out. You need to save this. This is not included. So I'm just going to leave it right on my Allen wrench. And now I'm going to grab my 9/64 Allen wrench, which is what this particular rifle happens to use. And all I got to do is just loosen up this barrel band. A couple of turns, slide it off, drop it on the floor, never see it again. Obviously, you want to keep that with your old stock in case you ever want to sell a gun. My theory of these is a lot of people will buy these stocks just to protect their factory stock, which obviously in this case wouldn't be such a big deal. But anyhow, you just pop your barrel up, and you may need to center your safety button to get it out of the stock, but it'll rotate out like this. Now, this is where I have the most service issues, where guys need new chassis. When you put this in, you have to put it in. So if you could come right up here, Deanna, you want to make sure it's all the way down in and that it rotates into place. And then you could even push back on it a little bit. What's going on is this cutout right here. There's a corresponding projection inside the chassis, and it has got to go in that cutout. Again, notice that my bolt is held open. That makes all of these pins stay put. You don't have to worry about them. So you tip that into place, and then if you're going to free float, we would just take our screw and run it right in. Either way, I'm going to put the screw in. And I like to make sure that I have the chassis fully seated. If you put this in and it sits there and spins, then your action is not far enough back in the chassis. You want it to easily screw in like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew it so that the barrel action is loose. And I'm just going to rotate it up. And sometimes I like to do it like this, lay it on a bench or a table. And I'll take my little barrel saddle and place it in there. You can also super glue it. You're not going to hurt nothing. And here again, we're going to rotate it into place. I'm double checking that my barrel saddle is in position. And we'll make sure it screws in smoothly. And just a little bit of snug. And that's it. You can see I've got the barrel spaced out nicely. It's obviously a 920 barrel, there wouldn't be quite as much gap in there, but that's really all there is to it. Close your bolt and you're done. So I hope this has been helpful, and please contact me if you have any questions. 218-457-2266 or meekraymond@gmail.com. I'll put the contact information in the comments below. Thank you. Bye-bye.